Right now, somewhere inside your home, your dog could be dealing with pain. Not the kind that makes them yelp. Not the kind that makes them hobble across the floor. The silent kind. The kind dogs are hardwired to conceal from you, even though you're the person they trust more than anyone else on earth. And here's the unsettling part. Most owners see the warning signs play out day after day and brush them off as something else entirely. He's just being lazy. She's just being dramatic. He's just getting old. If any of that hits close to home, stick with this video until the end, because afterward you'll never look at your dog the same way again. I'm Canine Mindset, and if you actually want to understand your dog instead of just making guesses, subscribe right now, because this whole channel exists to help you notice what most people overlook. Here's something almost nobody talks about. Dogs come from ancestors that survived in the wild, where showing any sign of weakness could get you cast out of the group, or worse, made you a target for predators. That instinct is still baked into them today. So when a dog is in pain, their first instinct isn't to let you know. It's to bury it. That means the signs coming up are quiet by nature. They're not obvious. They're not loud. They're tiny shifts that are almost too easy to write off. And that's precisely why they slip past unnoticed until the pain has been building for weeks, sometimes months. Before we dive into the list, I want to ask you something, and I really do want an answer in the comments. Has your dog ever done something odd? Something that felt off at the time but didn't quite add up? And now, looking back, do you wonder if they were actually trying to show you they were hurting? Write it down below. I read every single comment on this channel, and honestly, some of the stories owners have shared here have helped other people notice things happening in their own dogs. So don't just scroll past. Actually type it out. Now let's get into it, because the first sign is one of the most overlooked, and it has nothing to do with limping. Sign 1 is a change in how your dog settles down. Pay attention to how long it takes them to lie down for the night. A dog that's feeling fine usually turns in a circle once or twice and drops. A dog dealing with pain will circle again and again, shift around, stand back up, try once more, and sometimes never really settle at all. If your dog used to collapse onto the floor instantly and now takes 2 or 3 minutes fidgeting before finally relaxing, their body is telling them no position feels safe at the moment. Owners almost always write this off as fussiness or just getting older. It's rarely that simple. Sign 2 is subtle, and you can actually test it yourself in about 10 seconds. Gently glide your hand along your dog's back, from the shoulders down to the base of the tail, using light, steady pressure. Watch their body language closely. A dog with nothing wrong will barely respond. But a dog carrying pain somewhere along that stretch will often dip their spine downward, almost like they're trying to pull away from your touch, or their tail might drop suddenly in the middle of the stroke. This is known as a reflexive flinch, and it's a version of the exact test veterinarians use during checkups. If you've never tried this before, pause here and give it a gentle test. You might be surprised at what you notice. Sign 3 is something almost every owner reads in exactly the wrong way, which is why it goes unnoticed for so long. It's when a dog suddenly becomes more clingy than usual. Most people notice their dog wanting to be near them all the time, trailing them from room to room, leaning against their legs more than normal, and they think, "Wow, they just love me extra today." Sometimes that's exactly what it is. But sudden clinginess is also one of the most common early reactions to pain in dogs, because staying close to their person feels like the safest place on earth when something feels wrong on the inside. If this clingy behavior appears out of nowhere, without an obvious cause like a thunderstorm or a visitor, it's worth watching the rest of their body language more carefully too. Sign 4 is a change in how your dog breathes while at rest. Panting during play or on a hot day makes total sense. Panting while lying perfectly, still in a cool room, doing absolutely nothing physical, does not. This kind of resting pant is often the body reacting to internal discomfort, similar to how a person might breathe faster when something hurts. If your dog is panting heavily just lying on the floor, and it's not warm out and they haven't been active, take that seriously instead of brushing it aside. Sign 5 has to do with food, but not in the way most people assume. It's not simply about a dog refusing to eat. It's about a dog eating more slowly than usual, walking away from their bowl and coming back later, or seeming interested in the food but hesitant to actually go near it. This pattern often appears in dogs dealing with pain in the neck, mouth, or joints because the posture required to eat, head lowered, neck extended, can become genuinely painful. If your dog's eating habits have shifted and you can't figure out why, this is one of the clearest physical clues you can track over just a few days. Sign 6 is one that breaks a lot of owners' hearts once they understand what it means. It's a change in how your dog responds to being touched in one particular spot. Not touch overall, one specific area. A dog that used to enjoy being petted along their hips or lower back and now pulls back, tenses up, or even lets out a low warning growl only in that exact spot isn't being stubborn. They're telling you, as plainly as a dog possibly can, that something in that area hurts. This might be the single most important sign on this whole list, because dogs almost never growl or flinch without reason, and owners often mistake this for a behavioral issue rather than what it truly is, a signal of pain. Sign 7 is the quietest one, and honestly the one most owners never pick up on at all. It's a shift in facial expression. Yes, dogs do have identifiable pain expressions, and researchers have actually studied this using something comparable to the pain scales doctors use in hospitals. Watch for tightness around the eyes, ears pinned slightly back and held that way even while resting, and a mouth that looks tense rather than loose. A relaxed dog's face looks soft and easy. A dog in pain often has a face that looks quietly strained, even while lying still and appearing calm on the surface. Once you learn to spot this, you'll never miss it again, and it becomes one of the fastest ways to check in on your dog at a single glance. Sign 8 is something owners witness constantly and almost never linked to pain, and that's obsessive licking of one exact spot, not general grooming. That's completely normal. This is repeated, focused licking of the same paw, the same leg, the same patch of belly, over and over, sometimes until the fur thins out or the skin looks a little irritated. Dogs lick as a way to self-soothe, much like a person might rub a sore muscle without even realizing they're doing it. If your dog keeps returning to the exact same spot day after day, that's rarely just a random habit. That's your dog, in their own way, telling you precisely where it hurts. Here's what makes all 8 of these signs so easy to miss and so dangerous when they are. They rarely show up on their own for long. A dog that's slow to settle at night is often the same dog panting at rest and eating a bit differently too. These signs stack up quietly, week after week, while everything still looks mostly fine from the outside, because your dog is doing exactly what evolution trained them to do. Push through it and keep going, for you. Think about how this usually unfolds in real life. A dog starts taking a little longer to hop onto the couch. The owner laughs it off. He's just getting lazy in his old age. A few weeks later, that same dog starts licking one paw more than usual. The owner chalks it up to allergies, maybe grass, maybe the carpet. Then he starts panting a bit more at night, and the owner just turns on the fan, assuming the room's a little warm. None of these moments feel like an emergency on their own. That's exactly the problem. Pain rarely shows up with one dramatic moment. It arrives in pieces, spaced out just far enough that each one seems easy to explain away, until months go by and your dog has been quietly living with something the entire time. If you notice 2 or 3 of these while watching, that's not a reason to panic, but it is a reason to start paying closer attention. Begin with something simple. Over the next few days, watch how your dog settles down at night. Watch how they breathe while resting, and notice whether they flinch away from touch in any specific area. Pay attention to whether they hesitate before jumping onto furniture or climbing stairs they used to take without thinking twice. Keep a mental note, or even a quick log on your phone, of anything that feels slightly off, even if it seems too minor to mention. One strange moment might not mean much, but a pattern over several days means something. And if a pattern does show up, that's worth bringing straight to your vet, described exactly the way you observed it. When it started, how often it happens. Vets can't watch your dog around the clock. You can. That makes you the most valuable observer your dog will ever have. And sometimes the smallest detail you mention is the one that helps catch a problem early, while it's still easy to treat. And if this video made you reconsider something you'd been brushing off, that's exactly why this channel exists. There's a full breakdown coming soon on one nighttime behavior almost every dog does that most owners have never even noticed. And once you know what to look for, you'll wonder how you missed it for so long. Subscribe so you don't miss it.